got a chance to see the new Bryce Dallas Howard movie, Deep Cover on Prime. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, and a filmmaker as well. And we're here to talk about Deep Cover that's on Prime right now. It just released. And I'm obviously a big fan of Bryce Dallas Howard and most of the cast. Sean Bean is also in this, and Orlando Bloom. So, we have Game of Thrones, we have Lord of the Rings, and we have Jurassic World all coming together for the most part. So, in fact, I met Bryce Dallas Howard, and I asked her if she would, because, I got my sci-fi show, but she signed this for me. I'm not really happy with the green that she used, but she signed that for me, and then I asked her if she would show run my show, and she said yes, that she would be interested, but unfortunately I haven't been able to find an outlet for it yet. So it's because her agent's not going to move forward unless I have a distribution arm for it already. So here we sit, and that's why everybody says, "Oh yeah, it's going to be easy." I was watching a YouTube channel today that it was like, I don't want to act anymore, but I really don't like production, so I'm just gonna write. But then I want to produce and direct. Whoa! If you don't like production, how are you gonna produce and direct? You got to work yourself up from like a PA onto at least a second, and then first AD. You gotta take years before you direct. I love these people that just think that they're I'm gonna snap my fingers. And she's like, "Yeah, I've been trying the acting thing for a year and a half, 2 years." I'm like, that is nothing. It took me almost 20 years to get where I'm at now, and I'm not even anything. Crazy. So that's the Hollywood mentality. But it did make me laugh. And she says, I don't really like production much, but I'm going to direct and produce. What? What? You got a UPM, you got to line produce before you produce, darling. That's how it works. Anyway, jumping back into the movie. But I'm just telling you that even with me having Bryce Dallas Howard attached, I have Jeff Hunt who directed Vampire Diaries. I have Tim Russ attached as a director. Of course, he played Tuvok on Voyager. He directed some episodes of Star Trek as well. And I still can't get anywhere with all those attachments. So, just saying. All right, so let's jump into the movie. As I said, I'm a big fan of her, so I'm going to watch anything that she's in. I even watched Argylle, and God, was that awful. But she looked really good in this. I only saw her a few months ago, 4 months ago, and she didn't look nearly as good as she looked in that movie. She lost a lot of weight for that movie, I think. Argylle was pinnacle, but she looked better than she did in Argylle and when I met her. But she looked great. She looked absolutely great. And then I haven't seen Orlando Bloom in forever. I don't think I've seen something he's been in for such a long time. And I was pleasantly surprised with his acting in here. He was really good and really funny. And then the other guy, Ben Ashton, I didn't know anything that he had done. But apparently I had seen him because he was in The Martian, which I didn't even realize. But then he ended up being in Ted Lasso. But I've never seen Ted Lasso, so I couldn't place him if I wanted to. But obviously a lot of people have seen him in that. But obviously that's where he got his chops from. Is from there. Of course, Sean Bean. Does he die and everything? Sean Bean's just Sean Bean, man. He just is what he is. um, oh no, but it's Nick Mohammed is the guy who plays the Squire. So each one of them has their own name. So the storyline is that we have people that are all three people are like down and out, okay? And so Bryce Dallas Howard has a improv class where she's just teaching improv. She's tried to be an actress herself. I think she was on a sitcom, a really bad sitcom that went nowhere with her, and her agent dropped her, so it was all that. So she just had a hard time. So she started doing improv. All of her friends are doing very, very well, and she's like, the black sheep of the group. Then you have Orlando Bloom, who is like a method actor. I mean, he takes his acting so seriously. It's crazy. And so he wants a backstory. That's his thing. He wants a backstory on everything he does. And he's got this very intense, smolder look and all this other stuff. And finally, his agent drops him. He's down and out. He's got this long hair, the whole bit. And he ends up going to Bryce Dallas Howard's class. Then you have you, which is the guy who played the guy from Ted Lasso. He plays Squire. But Orlando Bloom's character is his name becomes Roach. I think Bryce Dallas Howard's the one that didn't have like a cutesy name. But anyway, so Orlando Bloom, and then you have you. He wants to be part of the pack in his work. He works in a cubicle. I think he does accounting. I don't really know what he does, but he works in like an office atmosphere. Nobody wants to be around him. He gets treated like shit, and he tries to tell jokes and it doesn't come off. Even if he's repeating it to someone that he had just heard, he still can't pull it off. So he walks past this improv thing, and that's how they all end up in the same thing. But the stars of her class are about to possibly get roles in a major thing. So enter Sean Bean, who is a cop, and he hires her to go undercover. Now, why? I don't know. In London. This all takes place in London. So Bryce Dallas Howard is the only American, okay, that's here. The other ones are all British. But why do they hire? He doesn't really say why he doesn't hire undercover cops as opposed to people who do improv. But he offers her money to go ahead and do just a couple of buys. That's all they wanted to do, is just have him do a couple of buys for illegal, and then they come in and arrest people, and that's it. So she's like, sure, and she approached the girls, except there was like a scout there or something like that at the improv, and they got hired off. So she has no choice but to go to the other two guys that just started because she didn't have much of a class. So that's how they end up all together. But then you have Paddy Considine, who he was just in Mobland. So he plays the same type of character again. And then you have Senora Mizono. She plays Shosh. I thought I kept saying Josh. She looks so different with blonde hair and blonde eyebrows. I couldn't even recognize her. So she was from Machina, on the day, 2014. It was a while ago. La La Land, which I've seen all this stuff. Civil War, she was just in. She was in 13 episodes of House of the Dragon, playing Mauricia. So, I mean, I've seen a bunch of stuff that she's been in. She was also in Crazy Rich Asians. She was really good too. But again, I didn't recognize her because of the light hair threw me off completely. But it was very interesting how they put this together. Before we go any further and we start talking about the director and the writers, remember too that I am a writer. So if you'd like to read anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type in my name. Or there's a link in the description below. You'll see my 4-novel series, Destiny Aurora. It is a sci-fi. It was made into a board game, an RPG. And it's also on Audible, and it was also a graphic novel that's also available with some amazing artwork. Then we have my fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. If you like dragons and things to that effect, that's all in there. It's also okay for like teenage audience. And now I have my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror, that is currently on Kickstarter, just in pre-launch mode. So you can sign up and get notified about when we do launch, so you can take advantage of our early bird specials and things to that effect. We're going to have some really great perks in there. We have like 6 different covers, including Cinderella, Tiger Lily, and Captain Hook, and I created a whole new Fire Fairy. It's really cool, but it's, we do have some blood and guts in there. I do take it in a completely different direction as they go around killing people in New York City. Anyway, there's a different motive about it and stuff like that. But definitely check that out. You can go to QR code here, or there's a link in the description below. All right, I appreciate it. We're up to almost 300, and we're about to pass 330 followers right now. All right, so let's talk about the director here. So the pieces they put together, I don't know who produced this movie, but very interesting about who he hired for writers as opposed to the director, right? And so the director was the director of Ghosts, the TV show. He did 13 episodes of Ghosts. So we have a comedic director paired with action writers. What? What? But this is how Bryce Dallas Howard got attached to this. Okay, and I've heard budgets anywhere from 20 million to 60 million on this thing. So even if we cut it in the middle and we say this is a $40 million film for Prime, and plus there's a rebate, which is probably where the 60 million turned into 40, because they have a 30% tax rebate there. But Derek Connolly and Colin Trevorrow wrote all of the Jurassic Park movies, the Jurassic World movies. So, of course, that's how they're tied in with Bryce Dallas Howard. So they probably just called Bryce Dallas Howard and said, "Hey, you want to do this movie?" And that's how Prime got her. Not that she's a big draw. I wish she was a bigger draw than what she is. Because I think she's really good. I think she's really funny too. She can go in all different directions. But yeah, so he did Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He wrote all of them. He also did, and this is the kicker, the story, not the script, but the story for Rise of Skywalker. We can blame him. There's already a bunch of people that don't even like those Jurassic World movies. And then you add in the fact that he did the story for Rise of Skywalker. That's bad news. He did Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which was cute. That was a cute movie. I wouldn't say it was a great movie, but it was cute. Kong Skull Island, which was okay. And he did both the Jurassic World Lego movies. So that's all him. All right, so... But anyway, it's very interesting that you took the guys from Jurassic World and melded it with the director from Ghosts. Never in a million years would I have thought of something like that. Taking dramatic writers and pairing them with a comedic director. It's interesting. It's interesting. Obviously it worked because I personally think the movie is decent. So the second guy, all the Jurassic World movies, nothing different there. For the writer. He also did the story. So this guy pairs with this guy quite a bit because almost all of the same credits for the second guy. So obviously they write together quite a bit. See, everything's all connected. Oh yeah, I worked on that. Let's talk about something, blah blah blah. Yeah. So that's how they got connected, was through ghosts. That's how the director and the writer for this ended up being connected. So he probably brought him on to be the third writer. But anyway, so I actually laughed out loud several times. So it does have some comedic moments. You end up really caring about these people. They get into really bad situations. Some of the stuff is smart because she ends up being the brains. And her real name, or the character's real name, is Kat, as opposed to what she does when she's undercover. And they get themselves into really bad situations that you're kind of wondering how they're going to get out of. But they just go into the thing just to buy like fake cigarettes or something like that, or illegal cigarettes. I've got what they went into the thing to do. And they said, no, we want the good stuff. So he brings out the other cigarettes, and then they always, like the guy who plays Squire, he always overtalks everything. So he's like, no, we want the good stuff. And before you know it, he's snorting cocaine. And then they have to go, shake somebody down for money that's owed. The guy ends up being an assassin. And the Squire guy, he tries to do something like cool. He tries to break the bottle against the wall, and it doesn't break. It was pretty funny. And then Ian McShane was in this too. And I gotta say, I was not happy with Ian McShane's accent. They should never have made him do that accent. It didn't work. He couldn't do it. It sounded weird. And when you hear him talk, thankfully he's not in a whole lot of scenes. He's only in a few. But he did not work for this film at all. But there was a lot of good stuff in here. I thought that the actors had a lot of good chemistry in here. I thought it was real. I'd love to see a second one, and even the guys who played the cops did a good job. Both of their comedic timing was good as well. It's just a little fun movie. It's not going to win any awards or anything to that effect. It's just a fun little movie to pass the time, but it was very entertaining. So if you just look at it, be entertained, go check it out. I'm actually going to give this like a 7.5 out of 10. It's not quite an 8 because it's not a movie I'll go and watch, several times or anything like that. I don't know. I might watch it again. I don't know. Depends what kind of mood I'm in. But they were very entertaining together. That is for certain. And I do recommend it. If you have Prime, it's free. Just jump in and click it. All right. Well, that's it for me. Thank you guys very much. Remember to give me a like. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Help me, build the channel out. Ring that bell, ding ding. Share this video out there, and then on top of that, check out my stuff on Amazon. Remember, there's a link in the description below, or just type my name in, and definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror. With the amount of people that we have jumping on this just to get notified, it's going to be great. I think we're going to hit 400 real soon. So anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. I will see you on the next episode. All right, bye-bye.